So yeah, so you mentioned Maggie, right? You mentioned about the next wave of the Gen AI. So have you observed any of the? I know you tried the Vision Pro, right? You've been paying close attention on the latest round of devices. Have you seen any of the early trend the devices are connecting with the Gen AI at this moment, or is this more on the prototype stage?
That's a good question. I think that one thing that I've seen, and I think that everybody who
Mhm,
are looking at taking an eye on the hardware market
mhm,
will find those products already announced or some of them are released. For
mhm,
example, what you mentioned, the Apple Vision Pro, the Ray-Ban Meta Smartglasses, which was announced last year, the end of the last year, and also started selling it as well. And also something like the Brilliant Lab Frame, which is in a really kind of a lightweight glasses that has the AI power. They're all kind of uh, like a harbingers for this new wave. Um,
mhm,
what has been kind of a quite popular in terms of like driving at the attention of the public are the products like Rabbit's RI or AI Pin or Rewind Pendant, which is in a kind of an AI powered recorder. So these are all what we call like wearables. When you see all these products in announcement or in the market, then you start realizing that actually AI can be everywhere. It could be like ubiquitous with its capabilities. Thinking about what generative AI can do, right? So they analyze, well, all these models, they analyze problems, provide solutions, or accomplish the tasks in a multimodal way. So just to imagine that, if you wear an XR devices, playing the game, let AI to generate the scenes for the games. It is not a science fiction anymore. Sora announced
mhm,
recently it has already created the scenes for Minecraft, right? And also thinking
right.
about NPCs in the games. Previously, you
Mhm,
have to create it, but like with generative AI, they can
mhm,
easily create something more immersive, like more communicative with the players. So on
mhm,
and so forth, let alone those like assets, still image assets
mhm,
or video assets, or even like creating a characters and
mhm,
background music. So the capacity of the capabilities of generative AI um, like are immense. Other
mhm,
things to think about are, for example, like real-time and information search, right? So we largely with the smartphone, we're content with like, oh, when I have the phone, then I can sort of like quickly type in my questions and I'll get the answer, so on and so forth. But sometimes you will see like it's not good enough. It doesn't have the vision. It doesn't kind of, I have to bring it out, right? While we have already had some like wearable hardware that we take all the time with us. For example, the earbuds. When we talk about like translation, real-time translation, why we have to take out the phone? When you have the earbuds in your ears, right? So that can, the translation can be done pretty kind of effortlessly. So I have seen a lot of the possibilities in
mhm.
the years to come, and I'm very excited about it. I don't know if you have already feel like
Mhm.
have already seen similar trends, or what do you feel?
I cannot stop by comparing this new AI wave with like last generation when Google Glass came out, and there's like a tons of like excitement as well as controversy, and and when I look at the Ray-Ban Meta smart glass, and when I look at like some of the new smart glasses, and like I think even like a Brilliant frame, I cannot stop by like just so similar to the Google Glass, and like even their demo of oh, here's how you take a picture, and then of course it's from Meta. So like how are you like observing this new wave of like the privacy and or like from a design perspective, and how do you think the market is going to perceive that aspect, and then how do you feel like this new wave of AI powered devices versus the last wave of like a Google Glass of the world?
Yeah, I think that you touch on a very important point, which I do believe that we should learn from the last wave, right? The failure of Google Glasses getting into the mainstream or the mass market. One of the key reasons was like it was probably too much ahead of its time, and a lack of some consciousness about, for example, the privacy of the users in a public. I think that will continue to be in a huge consideration in the product design aspect, because think about like how large language model works, and if you want it to personalize a lot of experiences, you will have to kind of give up the ownership of your own data. So then the data privacy, right, is going to be in a huge concern as well. So I think that definitely will become a huge part of this of AI. And also you talk about like how powerful this wave is going to be. But at the same time, when we think about like something powerful, we have to be careful of like what it can't do well. At this moment, we all are familiar with the term hallucination. That is one concern in my early days when trying out all kinds of AI tools. I can't be sure about the information I got. Is it true or not? In my very familiar areas, I can make an sound judgment. But there are so much areas that I don't know, and that's the reason why I search. And I don't have a good way to validate the information. So I think that when the hardware device makers nowadays, by kind of utilizing the wave of AI trend, this is also one thing that everybody will have to prepare, because we don't know everything inside out of that black box. There must be something going on sometime, like even without you knowing what the trigger is. So the kind of you could say like it's a PR related risk, or like the potential, like how you handle the cases, how you protect the users from such kind of an uncertainty. It is, I believe that it is also going to be something very different from any other hardware devices launched in the past.
Yeah, I would just imagine, right? Like the last generation, at least like the Google Glass, it's like, yes, it's a picture and you can share it like within this owner's network, but now it's added layer of risk of, oh, maybe can this picture be used for training other, and then even more public. So like I think people will have questions around like how is my data is going to be used, and it's going to be part of a training set. So like that goes to probably the marketing, positioning, messaging kind of things, where the product needs to be really, really clear up front about like what information is shared and how are we messaging this to the market.
Exactly. I can't agree anymore. I think that in terms of the messaging, this kind of upfront clarification of the limitations of your product capabilities, probably sometimes not to hurt your product, but to help you in the long run. I looked at I actually read through the blogs by OpenAI on Sora. That was in a wonderful paper, and I was like really impressed by one section that they talk about the limitation of the models. So it's not like for the marketers, when we communicate the benefits and the value of AI, it's not always like a rosy picture, right? You have to communicate in a transparent way of what are the limitations, what are the possible kind of risks, so that users are completely in awareness of what's going to come to them. Maybe it won't happen all their life, but again, like no one can guarantee. So I think that this upfront clarification and transparency is definitely the spirit and something in the principle of generating the messagings and positionings.